Bitcoin, is it going to break an all-time high this week as we're seeing Bitcoin rally over $70,000? Last week, we saw massive outflows from BTC, from Grayscale, from Genesis, and all the bankruptcy courts. Are we going to see a reversal this week? We're going to talk about that. Also, we have news from Circle and also the EU. Are they banning self-custodial wallets making transactions? We're going to dig into that. Also, some big altcoin news. We're going to take a look at some charts, taking some profits, and making money in this crazy crypto industry. We're going to talk about that and much, much more in today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. My house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and stale information and repackage that thing up in a fun and sexy way.
We're back to our roots.
Yeah, so we are coming to you live from my house in Sin City in Las Vegas. So studio under construction still, and so today we are streaming from my home. Welcome to mi casa, and yeah, there you go. So,
Amazing. You know,
do you like my house? What do you think?
I love it.
Do you like the setup?
Yeah, I like the setup. Guys, if you like the setup, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. So we're gonna talk about a lot today, and as mentioned. So let's just jump right in. We talked about yesterday. We're talking about yesterday, or last week, not yesterday. We saw outflows of Bitcoin, and we have a reason why. And we believe that this week, numbers are pointing to that's going to change. So take a look at this article here from AMB Crypto. Bitcoin volatility might rise in the days ahead, and talks about here is why. And so a couple things I've highlighted here. So days ahead could witness a significant bout of volatility, according to AMB Crypto's analysis of sentiment data. Many previously inactive Bitcoins started moving between addresses on the 23rd of March, so just 2 days ago. In fact, this was the largest spike in the movement of Bitcoin's dormant supply in more than 2 years. You can see here from this chart. Now, typically, a fall in dormant supply precedes volatility and price surges. This market phase, dubbed as one of belief, has historically aided further price increases, as shown below. This is from Glassnode. The market top generally associated with euphoria and greed is still a long ways off. What's your take on the sentiment of the market now, Robin? A lot of people are saying, hey, the markets are getting too greedy. All these meme coins are surging, yada, yada, yada. What's your pulse on the sentiment of the market and the crypto investor here?
The thing is the halving is around the corner, less than 30 days away, and for what we're gonna get from this point moving forward is gonna be nothing but volatility. We've seen it in every bull cycle. This one is not gonna be any exception. If anything, we have not only traditional and institutions operating here, but we also are gonna have the retail, which hasn't even jumped in yet. And when retail comes in, that's when you're really going to see the volatility. And so I'm just really excited about what we're going to see. Traditional money, and I think the institutions, they see volatility, they get scared. But here for my personal sentiment is that volatility, I welcome it because we know we're going to get bigger swings to the upsides. Sure, you're going to get the big pullbacks. But it does cause a lot of attention to come towards Bitcoin. If we see $10,000 swings in either direction, you're going to get coverage on the news. I do know that over time, we're going to go up and to the right, so I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah. Over time, I think that is the key word there is over time. But the problem is people are their time is a week, 10 days, a month. Guys, this is a long-term play as far as Bitcoin's concerned. Some of the other things like meme coins, more speculative low-cap altcoins, those are going to be more for your shorter term. Make sure you take profits, not something you want to hold into the next market cycle. But if you bought into the idea of Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you something that altcoin, you know what? Let me just show it right now. Something that Altcoin Daily tweeted. So This is the power of saving in an asset that appreciates over time against fiat currency versus saving money in a depreciating asset like paper money, fiat currency. So, price of home, US dollars versus Bitcoin. In 2016, price of a home was $288,000, which was 664 Bitcoin. 4 years later, right, $328,000 for a house. But that number went from 664 Bitcoin to buy a house, the same house, to 45 Bitcoin. And then in 2024, that number is 434,000. And the amount of Bitcoin needed to buy the same exact house is only 6.6 Bitcoin, right? So we talk about one Bitcoin will always be worth one Bitcoin. So again, the power of saving money in a commodity-like asset that is scarce, that is non-duplicatable as far as, duplicating the supply or increasing the supply. So just the power of what Bitcoin can truly do. Then I want to share this from James Butterfield. Every Monday, they do their asset flow weekly report. You can see here we were on a nice trend going back to the beginning of the year where we saw massive inflows, just 2-3 record-breaking weeks in a row. And this is the first week that we saw outflows, right? Net outflows. So Bitcoin, $904 million flowed out of Bitcoin. Still, the month-to-date flows are $4.5 billion. So even after almost $1 billion flowed out, we still have net inflows over the month at $4.5 billion. Year to date, $11.9 billion has flowed into Bitcoin. Ethereum also saw an outflow this past week, of $34.2 million. Solana outflows of 5.6. Litecoin saw inflows. So there you go, Robin. Cardano saw outflows, XRP inflows, but these are pretty negligible. Polkadot, $5 million. So, but this might change this week, and we believe it will. So here from Cointucky, this is from James Seifert. Cointucky Derby, which by the way, it's such a cool little moniker here. The Cointucky Derby update for Bitcoin ETFs last week was an $888 million for the group. Outflows were likely related to bankruptcy. They were mostly Gemini/Genesis selling. Expecting that to slow over the next week, they had a total of around close to $4 billion in GBTC shares to sell. And so, we've saw bankruptcies from Voyager, Celsius, obviously as noted here, Genesis, Gemini. So once that all subsides, and once whether Grayscale reduces their fee from 150 basis points to, let's say, 25, which would put in line with the rest of the markets, BlackRock, Fidelity, Bitwise, and all the other ones, and ARK. Once that happens, once all the bankruptcy estates sell, right, because they have to pay their creditors back, even if we have low inflow days like we saw last week where one day BlackRock only had 50 million, it's still going to be a positive net inflow. And so those are just some things to keep an eye on. Also here from Bitcoin Magazine, all eyes on 75K as $6.6 billion worth of Bitcoin shorts are waiting to get liquidated. That is a lot of money. So, Rob, any thoughts on current data we're sharing here? A lot of people last week, they saw a few days where inflows are pretty low. They're like, oh, that's it. That's it. The ETF now is going to just start bleeding away and no one wants to put any more money in it. What are your thoughts on everything we just kind of went through? Look, data.
Bitcoin 75,000. I like it. It's around the corner. Let's do it. Just pretty bullish. Like I was saying earlier, just pretty bullish. Everything that we've looked over, the flows, the price predictions, very similar to what we were getting as far as the ideology of Bitcoin adoption is very similar to what we had last bull market. So last bull market, everyone was hyped up about every small news article that broke. Hey, this company is using Bitcoin or crypto. Here's another article about one of the altcoins. They're making large partnerships And every time these news articles break, you see big rallies in the altcoins. You see big rally in Bitcoin. Also, the same thing kind of happens to the downside. We saw when Tesla said, hey, we're going to accept Bitcoin for payments on Teslas. We saw the price of Tesla rally, rip. And then at the same time, when they said, no longer are we taking Bitcoin payments for Tesla because of the energy consumption.
That was the top of the market, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the top. No, was it the first top or the second top?
The second top.
The second top?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this is to be expected. The flows, the price predictions, the market volatility, it's gonna increase too. The thing is what we're seeing in flows right now, even though it is breaking records and we're looking at it, we're like, holy crap. We just got started. Wait till retail gets in. Wait till Bitcoin's over $100,000. Wait till there's this euphoria in the markets and all of the all the people that you hang out with that aren't in crypto, and they start coming up to you and saying, hey man, I saw what happened to Bitcoin's price when you're at the barber shop, and it's just the discussion, even though you don't bring it up. That hasn't even sunk in yet. So everything's going to get multiplied, including the flows on the ETFs. So more of that to come. And then I did want to say, Rusty Bot said we're all wearing blue, and so I got blue, and there's also Gravy Train. What's up, girl?
You're wearing blue?
Hey. Someone asked you earlier if you spilled mustard on your couch. Did you?
No, that's just my house, my home. Yeah, it's just the color it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the producer area over there? You enjoying it?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Got my coffee over here. I'm chilling.
You chilling? Okay, for sure.
Okay. I do want to, before we move forward, I do want to give a big shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you run a business and you want to maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, we know how important that is these days. You're going to want to hit up Blue Wire Tech or Cam's Blue Wire Tech. Visit bluewiretech.com. Click the link in the description of this video or pick up the phone and call them. They'll help you navigate. Robin, I want to play a game. It's role play here, okay?
What game are we playing?
I'm a guy. Say, hey, I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to dip back down to 55,000. What do you say to me? What would you say?
I think it's possible. I don't know about probable, but
Talk to me.
Where was
I want to wait. I want to wait for 55,000. I think it'll go there. What would you say?
This is just me
role playing.
But what role are you playing?
I am the random guy.
Okay, so you're a guy that has no exposure to crypto.
Maybe a friend or an acquaintance of yours. I'm like, hey man,
I get that so much.
I want to wait. It's gotta. I want to get into Bitcoin, but I'm gonna wait. I think it'll go to 50,000, 55,000. I want to wait. What would you tell me?
You just DCA, bro. Just set aside an amount. How much Bitcoin you want to buy, or how much money do you want to put in?
$5,000.
$5,000 over the course of how long?
I would prefer to just wait till it gets to 50,000 and just buy.
I'm not. Let's not worry about the price. How much money?
That was my plan.
Okay, but how much money you got to put into Bitcoin?
5,000. I just want to wait for the perfect time.
Okay, so you got $5,000.
Yeah.
Just spread it out into 5 buys. Who cares about the price? Don't worry about it.
But when should I buy it?
Set a time. Every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So every 2 weeks, buy $1,000.
Okay.
And then in 10 weeks, you'll be done. So a little over 2 months. You're gonna get your average price. Will you have bought at the cheapest possible price? No. But you could have also bought at $8,000, $800, or $8. And so at the end of the day, you're not going to get the best return on price as far as looking historically backwards. But just get exposure by spreading out your buys. And that's it.
Why did I do that? I did that because that's probably a situation you're going to come across, right? You're going to come across someone that says, hey, look, I missed it. I missed last cycle. I was going to buy at 20,000, but some came up. I was going to buy at 30, and now I'm going to wait, right? And maybe some of you watching are thinking the same thing. And the reason I did that is because I want people to understand that while you or someone you know might be sitting there waiting for a 10% pullback or a 12% pullback, look at all the potential upside that you're going to lose out on, because guess what? If it doesn't come down to your 55K, it's going to go up to 80,000. You're going to wait for it's got to come back down. I'll buy it at 60,000. Never gets to 60. Next thing you know, You're at 150K and you're like, oh, I'll just wait for the next bull.
Also, I'll say that I would also focus on, if someone has no experience, I would focus on having them, because more than likely what they're going to say is, what should I buy, right? Which is the most annoying thing ever. It's like, what should I buy? Like, you know what? Like, you have $5,000, right? If your first question is, what should I buy? I feel like your mentality is in the wrong spot. And I hear David doing this all the time. I got to give you a little hard time, but I see people with zero experience and you're telling them about meme coins, you're telling them about near protocol, other tokens.
We're trying to make money here, babe.
No, but here's the thing. For a novice investor, the returns on Bitcoin versus altcoins, top layer one altcoins and Bitcoin in the long run, 10 years from now, what will have better returns? Near protocol or Bitcoin? 10 years from now.
Probably.
What would you feel comfortable putting money in a 10-year time horizon?
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would feel comfortable putting money in over 10 years versus Bitcoin?
Dog with hat.
No, seriously. Like, I mean, a question. Like, if you had money, you have savings for your son, right? You have savings for your kid, and you're like, hey, I got $5,000. I want to set it aside. I want to give it to my son. What are you giving him?
Bitcoin.
Okay,
and maybe
so
a couple other.
You got one.
No. You cut me off, and you can't cut me off before I finish my answer and say you got one.
Which token?
I'm trying to explain to you. Bitcoin, Ethereum.
No, you got one. You have one.
How are you going to tell me how to?
We just played
where
a
to put my kids'
hypothetical
money?
situation. I'm just saying.
You're saying a novice investor, sure, but I'm not a novice.
But what I'm saying is, you have one project, one token. You have $5,000. I give you $5,000, and
you tell me to only put it in one thing?
Yes, that's literally what I said
Bitcoin.
5 times. Okay, there you go. So now, that is, you feel like it's the safest bet for your kid, right? Your son. So why wouldn't? So where I'm getting at is, if this is what you would do for your closest, most loved, precious individual in your family, your son or your daughter, you have one token to secure their future. You're suggesting Bitcoin, as would I. So when I talk to someone random out here that has no experience, that is not going to be able to exit the market at the right time, that can look that some exchange went down, when they say, hey, what should I buy? My answer is always Bitcoin. Every freaking time. It doesn't matter. Unless you're watching the show and you're in the chat, and I know you're actively moving money or whatever it is. If I feel like the bear market comes and you're done with Bitcoin, or if you're somebody that was done with crypto during the bear market, because both people, there was both Tim and Sam, both of them had exposure to crypto in the last bull market, and they both wrote it off in the bear market. So when they come back around and they say, hey, what should I buy? I'm not going to tell you an altcoin. I refuse, because you already gave up on it before. So if you have the desire to invest in a crypto project and you don't have the fortitude to research and stay on top of the market, Bitcoin, and that's it. It would be for my loved ones, my friends, some random stranger. Ask me, bro, just buy Bitcoin. That's all. It's very, very simple, man. Now, if you want to make money, you want to catch the alpha, you want to watch the show every day, you want to know how to make some money on the short term, on cycles, what's about to pop off for you here, great, let's do it. Let's spot out some coins. We got an ICP video coming up, one of our favorite projects. We'll give it to you. But when it comes to these normies out here, the people that have zero experience, it's Bitcoin, bro. That's it.
Ashley, listen to me. Buy Slurf, okay? Slurf is where it's at. You're going to make a lot of money with that Slurf. All right, let's jump into some altcoin news here. So I do have the CoinMarketCap pulled up. A couple of things that we're going to talk about. There's a lot going on this month in the crypto sphere. We'll talk about Polygon going down for 10 hours, but it was on their beta testnet, so not that big of a deal. Arweave is having a hard fork on the 26th, so tomorrow. And this is from their GitHub. It is going to be a hard fork that activates on this numbered block height. And so some things that they are improving, something to keep an eye on. Also here, Chronos Chain is having their Titan upgrade, which is listed here from their website. A couple things here that they're going to do. So this is from the Chronos newsletter announcing the Chronos Titan upgrade. So this is the TLDR. The Chronos Titan upgrade focuses on two major goals. First, node and RPC performance improvements. Second, laid a foundation for upcoming user-facing features that leverage the best of Cosmos and Ethereum. And it goes on, the first sentence you see there is, Cronos is committed to the Cosmos software development kit ecosystem, which remains one of the most vibrant places in crypto today. Another one I want to highlight is Algorand. They are integrating Python. Why is this important? Well, Python ranks in the top 10 of the most used and popular programming languages in all of programming. And so one of the reasons that I became, and I'm still so bullish on Near Protocol, is because they allow developers who use the most popular and used programming language, which is JavaScript, to be able to use that same programming language to launch dApps on Near Protocol. And so obviously, if you want people to build on your platform, you got to make it easy. You got to give them resources. That is what Near is doing. And that is what Algorand is looking to do as well. You can see here from the tweet, Algorand Technologies. Mark your calendars, developers. Python is coming to Algorand next week. This was tweeted on, this week. So this was tweeted on March 18th. The exact date here from the CoinMark calendar says March 27th. So in around 2 days, we also have this news. Solana flips all the chains in weekly stablecoin transfer volume. Now, we know stablecoins drive liquidity. Ethereum surpassed that by 2x. Tron surpassed that by 3.5x. And you can see here, Solana, 364.7 billion in transfer volume. ETH, 153, let's call it. Tron, 101. BNB and Arbitrum ran out the top 5. What are your thoughts on this altcoin news? And Solana's just flips Ethereum and DEX volume on the day, on the week, I believe on the month. Stablecoin transfer volume is number 1 over the last 7 days. Are you still hyper bullish on Solana? Is $1,000 Solana still crazy to you? Because when I threw that number out there about a month and a half ago, you looked at me all janky.
Anything's on the table. You know what? The retail is here, institutions is here on Solana, right? Maybe not on the whole ecosystem. Maybe institutions aren't at 100%. Or maybe institutions aren't YOLOing into altcoins. We know that there is a small exposure to Ethereum, but institutions really are on Bitcoin. But venture capital and institutions, venture capital right now is behind Solana. And I do think that institutions are going to look further down the altcoin list when it comes to potential investments. And we have Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. Well, we saw what happened in the last bull market. Especially there's a lot of buzz around retail and, well, the degens, right? Everyone's kind of playing around on Solana. We see all of the meme coins. Now, my thing is it's missing the DeFi aspect as far as being in the position that Ethereum was last cycle, right? Now, Ethereum, you can say that Solana, well, it does have DeFi. You're talking about the transfer of stable coins. I'm not saying that it's non-existent, but I'm saying that what we saw last bull market where ETH went past $4,000 and it was just outperforming all layer ones for a while before the rest of the market took off. What we saw in Ethereum was due to the DEX volume, right? We saw the Uniswap. Everyone was swapping tokens, buying all these different new projects out here.
You just contradicted yourself.
How so?
Well, because one of the first things I said was Solana has surpassed ETH on the 7-day and the 30-day DEX volume.
That's what I'm saying is that.
So how can you say that?
No, well, it has passed ETH right now. But the euphoria that ETH had in the last bull market, it was such a large share of the market, right? Everybody and anybody was participating in ETH smart contracts through the DEXs, minting NFTs, and what we're seeing on Solana right now, yes, it might be a lot of volume. It might have surpassed Ethereum right now in the short term. But as far as everyone playing around with DeFi on Solana, it's just not there.
But can I argue that last cycle, ETH was pretty much the only legit, right? And so, I don't know. I disagree with you there. I think there's a lot happening on Solana. I just cannot wait until that damn Fire Dancer goes live on the mainnet. Supposed to be in the next 3 to 5 months. So summer of this year is when they're expecting it to go live. It is still currently in the testing on the test net. But they're seeing some really good signs. I mean, if you just pull up, go to Dex Tools or go to birdseye.so, you can see just the amount of volume, the amount of transactions, not just big trend, like micro, like $20, $10, $5. You can't really do that on ETH on the layer 1 at least, because it's so damn expensive. You can do it on Solana. So Solana is seeing thresholds of 1,000 transactions per second. That number is expected to potentially 100x when Fire Dancer goes live. And
you think that's a big catalyst for the price? You think that's going to be something that takes it to the next level? Now, the reason I say that is because we've seen the Dane Coon upgrade come and go. It increased productivity for the layer 2s. We also saw last bull market cycle, Cardano start off with smart contracts, didn't really catapult it any further than where it was in that moment. You know, it wasn't like smart contracts went live on Cardano back in 2021 or in 2020, 2021, and then all of a sudden everybody was using Cardano. The same thing when Ethereum moved to proof of stake, not much really happened there. And so my question to you is, does it really make that much of a difference? Does it really catapult Solana to the next level, having Fire Dancer, if it even rolls out successfully?
From a fundamental level, yes. From a price level, I don't know.
But fundamentally, you could say that Ethereum should be rallying right now because its entire ecosystem is alleviated because all the layer 2s are now scalable by a factor of 90%.
Here's the thing. With Ethereum, you have liquidity spread across 20 different protocols. With Solana, there are no layer 2s. So all the liquidity is in one place, right? And so that is a unique thing about Solana. Well, and also other blockchains are the same. But with ETH, sure, the ecosystem, Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK, Starknet, you name it. Yeah, they're rallying. ETH naturally will rally too, because guess what? All the transactions at some point have to check in with the Ethereum layer 1. And then the transaction fees, it is deflationary. Yes. But with Solana, it like all the money and liquidity and transactions happen on the layer 1. And it happened in real time. And when you're giving potentially up to 1 million transaction throughput per second, of course, these are hypothetical numbers. This is what they're testing. We'll know when it actually goes live. But to say that it won't be a catalyst or to say that'll be a negative,
I don't think it's a negative. I mean, unless something breaks. But I'm just saying that I've just seen time and time again in our space, crypto project has upgrade. Nothing really happens with the price, right? And I know there's more to it than just price, but I'm just saying that I don't believe that it's going to be this euphoric moment for Solana. I really don't. I think that it comes out. I think it's going to more than likely have issues. I think that Solana's downtime will not be resolved off of this upgrade. I know that the upgrade itself is to alleviate that, but I think every time you have a massive hard fork, it creates a lot of unforeseen problems. And especially with Solana's track record and history of rolling out anything new, it's kind of like just go fast, right? And then we'll fix it later, which I'm not saying is the wrong way of going about it, because there's been many companies historically,
it's been
especially
in the testnet for 2 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 2 months. Yeah. And so will it even roll out efficiently and error free? That's one question. And even if it does roll out perfectly fine, will that be the catalyst to take it to the next level? Historically, every time there is a crypto blockchain that has a fork, it hasn't really done much for the project, right? I haven't seen all of a sudden users skyrocket, dApps skyrocket. I feel like it's something that's a little bit more down the line. And so for me, when I'm looking at this bull market, we got a short window. The bull market is only going to be about a year and a half, right? Technically, that's the length of the bull markets historically. Do you think it's going to be about the same time?
A lot of people are saying it's a super cycle. I can potentially buy into that.
Yeah, I could see it, but I'm going to position myself that it's not. Right? I'm not going to completely exit crypto in entirety, but I'm going to let go of my riskier plays. I'm going to let go of most of my alts when I feel like the market is overbought, right? And I'm going to protect my assets by rolling it into Bitcoin. Will I stablecoin some of it? Sure. Will I take profits? Absolutely. But I'm not going to keep everything where it is because I believe in a surplus cycle, right? Because the last 2 bull market cycles, I've left a lot of money on the table, and I'm pretty sure you have too. I know you have. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that you watching have also left money on the table because you held all the way into the bull market. I mean, to the bear market, like into the depths of the bear market. And we saw that $60-something thousand Bitcoin last cycle go down to 16 grand. FTX melt down. All of your alts pretty much got liquidated too, for the most part, right? Now, we've seen the price bounce back, but this also happened in 2017. Same thing. Millionaires were made, and then also homeless people were made afterwards. And then you also have the cycle 2020, and then people went broke, bro. And then people lost their Lambos, and then I would just prepare yourself for the same thing. Because what'll happen this next time? You'd be like, well, the same thing. Remember you always bring up FTX. You're like, man, if it wasn't for Sam Bankman-Fried, we would have had a higher top. Don't you think that come 2025 we're going to be saying the same thing? Man, if it wasn't for the U.S. government banning Bitcoin mining, we would have
something you point your finger.
That's what I'm saying. And so rest assured that there's going to be some catalyst that pushes the market down. How big of a drop will it be? Will we go into a depths of a bear market that we typically see where we're off 70% from all-time highs and we're down there for an extended 2.5 years? Perhaps. Or maybe we do have a prolonged. But for me personally, I'm just gonna scale back into Bitcoin, bro.
Nothing wrong with that. We're going to get into the markets here, but
I do want to give a real quick shout out though as well before we get too far ahead of ourselves. If you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got Michael C, Monty, Ricky, Bobby A, Caffeinated, Darren, Ricky R, DDG, Slurf, Jason Bourne, Mari N, Zanibin, and Fitu High, Sir Save, Purple 303, Theo Rodriguez, Avery. And to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Can you guys do me a favor? Change all your YouTube names to only 2 syllables, please, for the love of God. Before we get into the markets, I do want to give a big thank you and shout out to our other channel sponsor, Decrypted.tax. We always talk about how much money we're going to make, but, well, we don't want to give a majority of that to the government in form of taxes. I'm not saying don't pay your taxes, but pay the least amount that you possibly can. That is why you need a tax professional who knows what the hell they're doing, especially in the cryptocurrency space, which is why we recommend you use Decrypted.tax. Use the link in the description of this video to schedule a free 1-hour consultation with Ernest and his team. Great people. Ernest has been in our space for a very long time, knows what he's doing. So big thank you to them. Big thank you for sponsoring the channel. And also, if you use any of the services, you will get 25% off from being a Sin City Crypto community member. Now, that being said, Robin, markets, go.
All right. So Bitcoin coming in 70,500. We have officially crossed back above the 70K mark, which we had lost for quite some time. You can see here, it's been over a week. We were under $70,000. So going back to the 1 month chart, it was March 14th. Last time we were above 70K. We had spilled off from there. And so 11 days is how long we were under 70K. So is this sustainable? We'll take a look at the Bitcoin charts here in a moment, but I don't know. I think I want to see us above 71, 71.5. I think right now sitting at that 70K mark, maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we can hold above it for more than 24 hours, and if we can get above the $71,000 mark. Some big movers today. Arweave up 18%, up 27% on the week. And ICP, Internet Computer, up 17% on the 24 hours, but massive gainer. This is up 37% in the last week. And then rounding out some of these big movers, Near Protocol, 15%. This thing has just been, it just hasn't stopped, man. Taking a look at the Near chart, you can see that Near Protocol over the last month went from $3 to $7, a straight healthy 2x in the last month.
Love me some
and
Near.
Then, take a look where it was back in December. It was at $2. And then back in, man, it was back under $2 back in February. So if you would have got a position at any time during February, you would have had a 3x, man.
Or if you're smart and watch this channel, and I've been,
dude, we've been so bullish on Near Protocol. I mean, we've had the founder on. We've done probably 6 or 7 videos on Near Protocol. Three of which have dropped in the last 6 months. So you know that we've been behind this. Has been one of the best performing top 30 altcoins this bull market cycle, or in the beginning of this bull market cycle, and we don't think that it's gonna slow down anytime soon. Yeah. I think it's still got a lot of room to run. I mean, if you take a look at where it is on the market cap list, it is still way down here at number 18. I would not be surprised for this to crack the top 10. Just to move, if nothing else in the market moved from $8 billion market cap, crack the top 10, you're looking at about a 3x from where it is now, which would put it over $20 Near Protocol. And then I do think that the entire altcoin market will also rally by the time it gets there. So I don't know, $20 Near Protocol thing I think makes a lot of sense if it keeps moving, and that's
too bearish.
You think it's too bearish?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Near's getting at least $60.
$60, huh? Well, I'll leave that up to David and you guys to think if that's actually going to happen. I mean, I could see it. I that's less than a 10x. I mean, I could see it. I think that you do need to get a very strong performance out of Bitcoin. I would say if we see a $200,000 Bitcoin, then and Near Protocol just keeps chugging along. Yeah, I do think $60 is on the table for sure. Now, taking a look at some of the bigger pullbacks today, you have
nothing.
Just Conflux. That's it. So a healthy day. Everything is up, and even Conflux is still up 27% on the week. So if you're in crypto,
we are so back.
You are looking good right now. Now, did you have a chart you're going to pull up?
Thank you for that. Appreciate the compliment. Yeah. So I was going to show a BTC chart, but first I want to share with you. Made some gains here, so entered a Bitcoin long at 65,548. And the thought behind that was front running this inverse head and shoulders on the 4-hour, right? So my entry was around right here when we had that initial dip, and then we started rallying, got in right here around 65. You can see here we did get rejected initially on this neckline. But when we essentially had a bump and run, when we bounced off support there, we had that massive 4-hour candle, which is around 4.5%, currently sitting at $70,600. Could I have kept this going? Could this have ran longer? Of course it can. But, as you trade more and more, especially with leverage, you learn that nobody goes broke taking profits, can't get too greedy. So completely happy with a 44.69. Also, the 44.69 was determining factor in closing out the trade. Profit there as we close out at $69,733. Taking a look at where Bitcoin is now, can we see a retest of this neckline? Potentially. Do I think it's probable? No. So put us at around $66,500. If I hide this pattern and we go and we throw on our price action concepts from Lux Algo here, which, by the way, guys, if you're not using these Lux Algo premium indicators, you guys are missing out. This is some good stuff right here. So this order block here, right around between, I'd say, 69.53 and around 70.7K, we're seeing a little over 2-to-1 buys versus sells. So we'll see how price reacts there. But I would expect some immediate resistance right around the 72.2K level. as that is our premium zone, which typically we've seen sell-offs. And of course, guys, these are dynamic indicators, so they move with the market. So this is not going to stay here if Bitcoin's over 80K, right? This will move along with it. And then if we zoom out to the daily, here, we're close to that premium zone. We did get as high as that 73.8K level, which was our all-time high. We have a few fair value gaps down here on the bottom. I don't think 56 and I don't think 53 will get filled. Will we get a fill on the top end here, 60K? Potentially. I think it would take some negative news, but we're going to share with you a little bit later the global market sentiment is shifting. We're seeing more money printing. We'll get into that more detail here in a little bit, but things are looking good for Bitcoin. Also on the daily on our matrix oscillator here, we did get a buy signal as the hyperwave is ready. It looks like it's ready for an absolute moonshot. We're not overbought yet on the RSI, but we're currently sitting at 60, and anything above 75, 70 to 75 is where you see, hey, or where this is overbought, expect this thing to heat up. But this is on the daily, and you can see here how long Bitcoin was able to stay overbought for before price saw a big correction. You saw here from the 25th of February all the way through the 15th of March. So a little less than 1 month, Bitcoin was completely overbought, but the price still rallied from around 50, let's call it 50K to all the way up to $74,000. I tweeted this out. I tweeted this out last week, right? Doge breaking out of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. We did enter this trade as well. And we entered this trade and we got a profit of 69.33%. I didn't even recognize that. 69. So 69.3% gains on this Doge trade. We did an 8x leverage trade. If you guys want to use the platform we use, we love BigX, great customer service, great selection of coins. They got futures, and they got standard and perpetual futures. Super easy, super user friendly. And so either you zoom in on this QR code, or there is a link in the description of this video. So Robin, although we couldn't get you to this year's Super Bowl, maybe next year's Super Bowl we can get you there, you know, although it might not be in Vegas. All right, let's take a look at some news here. So this made its cycle in the news. Everyone was panicking. The problem is people tend to share news and share news articles before completely reading it. They see a headline and they just post it. Well, you got to really dig in, especially something as important as this. So there was news that, people were circulating that, hey, the EU just banned any payments from a self-custodial wallet. So if you self-custody your Bitcoin, you can no longer send or receive Bitcoin out of that wallet. It's illegal. That is not true. So this article highlights that from bitcoinsystemi.com. According to the report published by Finbold, it has been claimed that the European Union has banned the use of anonymous self-custody cryptocurrency wallets for crypto payments of any size. Now, Patrick Hansen, the strategy and policy director of Circle, explained that self-storage wallets are not banned under the new law. Payments to and from self-custody wallets are not prohibited, and practices such as peer-to-peer transfers, self-custody software, and hardware wallets are expressly excluded from the anti-money laundering regulation, according to Mr. Hansen. However, he did note that, for example, paying merchants with crypto from a self-custodial wallet that is not subject to KYC will be more difficult or prohibited depending on the merchant's ecosystem. So you could potentially not walk into a store that accepts Bitcoin and pay with your self-custodial wallet unless it's KYC'd, which we're not going to KYC our self-custodial wallets. Please do not KYC your self-custody wallet. That defeats the entire purpose. Okay? Don't do it. If you need Bitcoin to spend money, I don't recommend spending your Bitcoin. I think it's a stupid idea unless you absolutely need to. Put it on a centralized exchange. For example, I have a Coinbase card. I forget what it's called, the blue card, where if I ever need to spend it, I just put my Bitcoin on there, or not my Bitcoin, any altcoins or whatever, and I can just swipe the card and it'll deduce the balance from my thing. But what are your thoughts on this here?
I feel like most people in Europe, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like most people in Europe have access to banking services. And so I don't feel like people are losing out, right? And where crypto is used as a currency, or cryptocurrency is used for what the name has been derived for, is for countries and nations and populations that don't readily have access to banking services. You can look South America, also Africa, and some other areas. You have difficulties opening up a bank account, whether it's difficult with identification, or just you're not allowed to participate for whatever reason, financially, ethnically. Then these wallets, DeFi, they serve a purpose, right? But in Europe, I mean, realistically, how many people need to pay in crypto, right?
I guess there's less of a need to. Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. So the same thing here in the United States. In the U.S., like if someone throws up their hands, they're all pissed off that merchants aren't accepting their Bitcoin. It is what it is, right? Like you get, it's an option there. I do think that
luxury.
I think that eventually we will have crypto as more of a ready form of payment if you want to use it. The same way, hey, I can give you cash, I can Zelle you something, I can Cash App it to you, here in the States. All of that is different options, right? Same way I can catch a taxi, I can call a friend, I can drive, I can catch Uber. We have options, right? And I think
$50 for a taxi yesterday.
gas is expensive. So, at the end of the day, you're gonna have options, but I don't think it's a big crutch. I don't think that someone's kicking out the crutch for somebody in Europe for not being able to use their wallet. A little disappointing. I do think that Europe has been very progressive on crypto regulation, but obviously it's not all geared towards crypto being positive and in a pro-friendly format. Obviously, KYC is.
I think they're just trying to get people. They're trying to get people to KYC, right? It's so obvious. They're trying to know who holds what, who holds where, how much, right? But I'm telling you right now, do not KYC your self-custodial wallet. If anyone got that joke, you should be laughing. That's the whole purpose, right? My wallet, my Bitcoin that I self-custody is in a wallet that I might have forgotten the seed phrase. So we saw what happened in the 30s when the government came after your gold because it was hurting the dollar because they wanted to print more money, but they just couldn't. So that was the first step in getting off the gold standard. Now imagine if Bitcoin grows to this phenomenon that we all think it's going to grow to, and it starts challenging the United States dollar. Well, guess what? The first place they're going to go to, maybe this is me being a little conspiracy, but I don't trust the government. First place they're going to go to is they're going to go to BlackRock. Hey, BlackRock, that 1.2 million Bitcoin you own, we're going to need that.
It's not that I don't trust the government. I just don't trust the custodial agents when it comes to centralized. And I know this is particularly involves DeFi wallets, but the reason you even use DeFi wallets is because, hey, centralized players, the exchanges or Robinhood or wherever you're buying your crypto from, if you're not removing it from that exchange, you're keeping your faith.
It's not your Bitcoin.
You're keeping your faith and all of the risk in the hands of someone else. And we saw last cycle, the previous cycle, the cycle before. You had Mt. Gox first, then you had Quadriga last cycle, Bitfinex,
BitConnect.
This one you had Celsius. The list goes on. And if you think that this cycle is gonna be completely different and there aren't gonna be any exchanges that mismanage funds and go under, sorry, that's going to happen. It's not even a question of if. And so why take on that risk? Sure, if you're day trading or if you're just kind of buying and then removing, maybe you're comfortable keeping it there in a shorter period of time. But if you're buying a crypto and you have the intention of keeping it for more than, say, 60 days, remove it from the exchange. Put in custody it yourself. Now, if you're brand new to the game, maybe research a little bit on what you're doing, because there's a lot of a lot of risk there involved.
Robin,
Phrase, but
Robin, I think it just break it down here is the simplest way possible, right? 2 reasons why you invest in Bitcoin. 1, you want to make money. Cool. Buy the ETF, buy it from Coinbase, leave it on there, whatever, fine. Second, you want to buy Bitcoin as an outlet and protect yourself against inflation, monetary debasement, currency debasement, and the government. Then you don't want to do that. You want to buy the Bitcoin from the exchange. I don't care how long it takes you. Watch videos, ask questions, go to a freaking workshop, whatever the case is, learn how to self-custody your crypto and do that yourself, okay? If your goal is to have an out from what we're seeing happen in the world now, and you truly believe in what Bitcoin stands for, do not think you have Bitcoin through an ETF. Do not think you have Bitcoin sitting on an exchange. You got to pull that thing off self-custody. If you just want to make money, cool, man. Buy the ETF. It's a lot easier. It's convenient. Taxes are better, or at least easier to do. Great. Make money on it. Sell it. Cool. Great. Turn it back into crappy fiat and do whatever you want to do. Speaking of fiat, we did have a $10 super chat from Lee. Said less than a month away from Bitcoin having an Easter. We appreciate you, my friend. And then Ricky Romero, $5 super chat, said, with the Coinbase card, does it count as selling your Bitcoin for taxes? And would they charge you capital gains? That's a great question, my friend.
Yep.
What?
No, it does.
It does? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
you're
have the answer.
you're selling your Bitcoin. And so if you're using your Coinbase card, just know that each one of those are taxable events. And if you're up, you're gonna either need to hand all of that, and all of this prints out at the end of the year. You'll see all of these on your statement, your tax statement from Coinbase. You just print that out and take it to your tax guy. But don't think that, oh, hey, I sold my Bitcoin, but I didn't sell that much. I only sold $80 to put a tank of gas. Well, then that you can't use that as an explanation when it goes to the.
Listen, guys, there's 80,000 new IRS agents. Be careful.
When it comes to an audit, you can't really just justify. Wait, it wasn't that big of a transaction, right?
They don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rob could be right. I'm not going to comment on it because
selling your Bitcoin, whether you sell it for dollars or you sell it for a good, is the same thing. So.
Okay. All right, let's move on. I did mention the global markets might be easing. What do I mean? Well, from CoinDesk.com, over 100 million in Bitcoin. Well, no, not that one. Never mind. We're not going to go over that one. We're going to go over this. A couple things highlighted here. So we had Jerome Powell, who had the FOMC meeting on Wednesday last week. To my shock, said 3 rate cuts this year. Wow. Okay, Jerome, cool. Macro factors continue to align bullishly. Last week, the Swiss National Bank unexpectedly cut the benchmark interest rate, kicking off a global easing cycle. Also, the Central Bank of Mexico cut rates. The Federal Reserve, EU Central Bank, and the Bank of England laid the groundwork for the so-called liquidity easing in the coming months. Yay! More money flowing into the markets. Everything's going to get overextended. We're going to print more money. The government just passed $1.2 trillion in spending bill, which is why I highly recommend, when I talked about the 2 ways to do Bitcoin, do the latter, right? Get some damn Bitcoin, convert some of that shitty fiat that's just going to print into oblivion. And what happens when they print money? All the people that are saving money in dollars, that gets diminished. So every time you hear printing money, spending bill, easing of conditions, just know that all that fiat, that $100 bills that are under your mattress in your bank account, they're losing value every time something like this happens. You know what doesn't lose value over a long period of time is Bitcoin. It's not like Michael Saylor.
Yeah, I mean, it's across the board too. It's not just the U.S. Government as well, and in the EU, but China also. If you want to pull up my laptop here, you have planning on spending $139 billion in ultra long debt for the economy. And so we're going to have...
China's seeing deflation, which is horrible. People just are not spending money. They don't want to spend money, and it's brought the economy to a standstill.
Yeah, so we're expecting a lot of printing. Well, one, because we're in a election year. Jerome Powell already came out and been pro rate cuts. We're expecting, the analysts are saying 3 to 4 cuts. More than likely, it'll probably be 3. And on top of that, the EU is printing, and we're gearing up. Everything is pointing towards a massive liquidity surge,
Robin?
and rally into the
But wait, there's
crypto
more.
markets. Go ahead.
There's more.
What you got?
282 U.S. banks suffered toxic combo that could trigger collapse, with almost $1 trillion in total assets at stakes from Daily Hodl. According to the consulting firm Claros Group, the banks in question simultaneously have large levels of exposure to commercial real estate and significant unrealized losses on their balance sheets. Now, we know the Fed came in a few months ago, maybe even a year ago, and said, hey, look, we know we hiked interest rates up super fast. We know you have a lot of unrealized losses. You can't really sell your bills and notes and your treasury bonds on the secondary market because no one's going to buy them. Why would I buy something and get 2% when I can just go buy them directly from the treasury at 5%? So it kind of ruined the secondary market. And this is how banks get liquidity. When people want their money, banks start to sell assets, and typically US treasuries were those assets because they were extremely liquid and fast to sell. Well, they couldn't really do that because they would be taking a massive L on their profits. So the Fed said, hey, look, bring us the notes, bring us the bills, we'll give you face value, and then once it matures, we'll sell it at no loss. Fine. That is gone. That is gone. You have commercial real estate, which we've been talking about. That thing is taking a hit. So now the group that did this that did this article, did all the metrics that looked into it. They wouldn't disclose the names of the banks because they feared a bank run would spark. So let me tell you one thing. In an election year where there's going to be a lot of people on the left, a lot of people on the right, they're going to position themselves. They're going to try to come out ahead and get votes. If there starts to be another bank run like we saw in 2022, do not think for a second either the government, as in Joe Biden, or Congress will pass a large spending bill, or the Federal Reserve will just do something like they did again in 2022, essentially quantitative easing, opening up their books, saying, hey, we'll buy it from you. Don't worry about it. They're not going to let the banks collapse. So this could be another potential catalyst for more liquidity entering into the market. We saw what happened during the pandemic in 2020. People started getting checks. What do? They invested in cryptocurrencies, meme coins, shit coins, you name it, Bitcoin. Everything saw massive rallies. We're probably going to see the same. The idea that the US government or any government is going to pay back their debt is absurd. So what they're going to do, they got to manage how much money they pay in interest, and they do that through inflation, right? They inflate the debt away. So it's in the best interest of them to keep inflation high. And so again, one of the reasons why you need to have some freaking Bitcoin in self-custody.
I do want to give a little love to the chat here. We got Terry Dormer, Destruction, Alex Rod, Gerald, Lamatage, Servando, and to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Did you say Lamatage?
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't that restaurant you went to in New York? Was that a French restaurant?
La Bernardine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a French chef. Man, it was so good, bro.
You sounded quite
I
Frenchy.
had such a good time in New York. And then the chat seems to be a little quiet, so let's get a Ola train going. So type OLA in the chat. We got over 350 live viewers with 200 plus likes. So pretty good turnout today for Big Rob's House special live show. But put Ola in the chat. Let's see if we can get a couple 100 Olas. It's the only channel that encourages spam in the chat. So spam away, OLA.
Wow, that rhymed.
Yeah. And what about you, Ashley? Let's hear it, Ola. You ever heard it? Where are you at? Where are you at? You gonna give us Ola? Why not? You know Jimmy's coming to town. Are you excited?
I am excited.
I heard he's bringing some of the best gravy from Houston, Texas. They do call you Gravy Train.
I hope so. I really hope so.
That's confirmed. Jimmy, are you watching? Is it confirmed? Because I feel like it is confirmed.
He lands in about an hour, so
he's on the plane.
He's definitely not watching.
Hey, he flies first class. He's got internet.
Oh, okay.
Got Wi-Fi. By the way, I didn't have internet. I couldn't freaking log into my thing. So I was just watching. I did watch Straight Outta Compton again. That was such a good movie. Yeah. Anyways, before we log off, I do want to give one more shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. It'll pop up on the screen here in a second. Also, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. That is where we're most active on our social media channels. If you want to support the channel, there's plenty of ways to do so. Just make sure you click the description of this video. Check out all the links. A lot of cool things for you guys. So one of our things that we do anytime we bring on a new sponsor is the first question we ask is, what are you going to do for our community? And without something, there is zero deal. I don't give a crap if they want to offer us $1 million a month, whatever that number is. We want to make sure that when we're benefiting, we want our community to benefit as well.
Then RustyBot said, Rob, is that Versace wallpaper behind you? It is actually from Italy. I'm very proud of my wallpaper. Got it shipped here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got your wallpaper shipped. You are so bougie.
Dude, America's wallpaper is so ugly. It's just like
What's wallpaper, first of all? What do you like?
Big Rob does.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Actually, we forgot he's out. He's smiling over there. All right, guys, ICP video comes out in a little bit today. ICP, man.
What was that?
It was like I'm trying to find the word. You know, I tend to give myself FOMO sometimes when I'm filming the video and I'm talking, and then afterwards I'm like, holy shit. That happened in the ICP video. You're not going to want to miss it. So big shout out to that. Also, big shout out to this finger who's going to tornado us out of here. Ashley. Although tornadoes are dangerous in homes. That's why I did a mini one. So. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Shut your mouth. Come back tomorrow, same place, same time. We love you. Until then,
tornadoes are dangerous in homes.
Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.